Hello everyone and welcome back. It's Gina from orchidandopal.com, and today I have the latest Sam's bead box to open up with you all. It is for January 2023, and as you can see, the theme for the month is called Tennessee Treasure. This is a subscription that is full of lots of different Czech glass beads in all different shapes and sizes that come in a coordinated monthly theme, and also you'll typically find some gemstone beads and or pendants or focals and some metallic components. I'll leave the link right down below the video if you'd like to check out the subscription on their website and find out all the details about it. They do ship to most areas in the world, and I have a coupon code that will take $5 off your first box. That code is ORCHID, ORCHID, and I'll leave that down below as well. If you sign up today or right after this video gets posted, you'll be signing up for their next month's or February's subscription box. But this should give you a good idea of the types of content you can expect in this particular subscription, and next month's theme and color palette will just be something different. So let's go ahead and open this one up. And before we get into the content, you can see there's two inserts here. The first one gives a great rundown about the description behind the theme Tennessee Treasure. It looks like it is inspired, of course, by the Tennessee area, which include the Great Smoky Mountains, just a gorgeous area. I highly recommend if you haven't been there. And of course, home to Dolly Parton, who happens to be a favorite, it says, of Sarah Lovecraft, who will be working with Sam on an upcoming class if it hasn't happened already. But you can find all that information on their website at samsbeadshop.com, and also go to joinsamsbeadshop.com to sign up for text reminders about upcoming classes. So our second page is the insert that shows us exactly what we're going to be looking at today as far as the contents listed out. And there's a total of 24 different types of items we're going to be looking at. And by the way, this box right now runs around $45 per month with $5 shipping if you're in the US, which is a discount over the retail value, which is stated at $83. And you can find more items similar to this at samsbeadshop.com as well. Now let's get into our contents. And here is a sneak peek of this bundle that is chock full of beads. As usual, there is a lot for us to take a look at, so I'm going to get organized and we'll take a look at everything running down the list one at a time. This is going to be such a nice palette this month, which combines a lot of earth tones with some feminine and floral touches. So let's go ahead and get started. Our first bag contains 5 pieces of the 14mm North Star coin beads in rustic gold blue. Here's our set of 5 in a slightly puffed flat circular shape, with the hole going there through the side of the bead, and that light blue wash just bringing out more of the details on both sides and giving us some contrast with the antique gold color that we see in the background of these glass beads. In our second bag, we find a Czech glass table cut flower of life coin in mint silk Picasso gold. So this is a similar idea to our first selection and kind of coordinates with them as well. This just being a larger 19mm size and not having that puffed shape on either side of the bead, being more of a flat circular shape. And this time we have the golden wash over top of that pale variegated minty green glass. Our third selection is a strand containing 50 pieces of the 4mm Czech glass fire polish faceted rounds in the color Peridot AB. So here's that light, fresh, minty green color in the glossy, transparent glass with just that hint of iridescence coating the outer surface of these fire polish rounds. Next, we have some lush leaves. These are the Czech elm leaves in rustic gold with approximately 18 pieces in the bag. These have a mottled golden finish, which doesn't cover up the transparent glass completely. It just adds a strong dusting of gold metallic on the entire surface of these leaves. And this particular shape has that pressed detail on both sides with the hole that runs through the base of these leaves. Here's our first bag containing some stone material. This contains the serpentine nuggets, a 4-piece set of 15 by 22 millimeter size beads. And I love how these are all just a little bit different with that yellowish green tone, but also some of the white and light gray that pops up in certain areas. These have that smoother, more tumbled surface, but still offer us those chunky shapes. The hole goes through the length of these beads. And these could definitely lean more green or more yellow depending on what you are putting them with. So I think they go very well, for example, with both the tones of green that we've seen so far and also the tones of gold. We have yet another interesting Czech glass leaf shape. These are the maple leaves in green opal bronze, and there's 15 pieces in the bag. This is more of a lighter olive green tone, and you can see how they have their own unique veining detail. It's also brought out by that bronze wash that does appear on both sides. And the hole placement on these beads is going up and down through the center of that broader leaf shape. Up next is a bag containing the Czech glass melons in the 8mm size with 20 pieces on the strand. Which you could use in place of any round bead or pearl. This would just add a little bit more texture or detail because of those ribbed lines that you see going all around these beads and those lines of gold that settle into those more inset areas. Our next selection brings in another strand of melon beads, but this time in the smaller 5.5mm round size, 40 pieces on this strand, and we're also bringing in some of that feminine pink color. And in addition to the pink glass, we have an eye-catching light bronze luster that you can see as you're looking at these beads from certain angles. This time that luster coating is showing up around the entire bead as opposed to our other melons with the wash that just settled into those ribbed sections. In our next bag, we find a Czech glass dancing flower in the pink silk / crystal bronze combination, and there's 1 piece included. So here we have yet another unique Czech glass pressed shape with the flower design showing up on both sides just like this. And that pink silk being a toned down, dusty medium pink with a bit of a sheen to the glass, in addition to the luster that it has in that bronze metallic shade that helps to show off that flower shape, and the hole running through the length of this particular bead, which is a larger 16 by 20mm size and could be used as its own type of focal. Up next, we have an 8-piece set of the Czech glass bellflowers in pink silk / crystal mix bronze. There are different sizes that these Czech bellflowers come in, and this happens to be one of the larger sizes. And they're not completely pink. Instead, they're made up of that mix of the crystal clear and that pink silk that is combined beautifully, giving some hints of changes in the color variation depending on where you're looking and differing from bead to bead. And these have that strong contrast of the bronze wash that shows up in the center of the flower primarily, but also adding those stripes of bronze that you see from the base of the flower and sort of separating out those different petals. Up next is a full strand of 7mm fire polish faceted rounds in pink crystal AB with 29 pieces included. So another lovely pop of light pink that shows up in these eye-catching beads with that hint of a rainbow finish added over top to the translucent glass, and giving us another size to work with as well, not only in the fire polish but just overall, which makes this one of those boxes that I highly recommend for those of you who really like to put things together from the contents of one box in particular. Or if you like to see how much you can make from a single box, there's tons of things you can make with the contents of these Sam's bead boxes. And I have a couple of videos that I will try to include links to in the corner if you haven't seen those, where I have done just that to give you an example of all the things you can create from these subscription packages. Our 12th item is the Czech glass butterfly selection in the lavender amethyst AB. There's 6 pieces included, and these are another nod to Dolly Parton, like it said in the description, butterflies being some of her favorites. And I have these 6 pieces turned in different directions so you can see how there's that very vibrant AB coating that shows up on one side, giving us that very bold metallic look. And then on the other side, you can see more of that purple amethyst glass with just a hint of the reflectiveness coming through the other side from that coating. The pressed detail of the butterfly shapes is more apparent, I think, with the side that has the AB coating, but you do see that it's the same on both sides design-wise, and the hole runs up and down through the center of the butterfly. Next is a bag containing 4 pieces of the Czech glass royal diamonds in dark aqua pink. So you can see these have that flourish design, which is highlighted there with that pink wash over top of the transparent teal glass. And these are also the same on both sides with the hole running up and down through the length of these long diamond-shaped beads. Up next is our bag of approximately 100 pieces of the Czech glass daisy spacer beads or forget-me-not flowers in the color blue and a 5mm size. I love how they've got everything arranged almost by color. We're going on a journey from those lush greens and into the various shades of pink and purple, then winding through some blue, maybe the water and sky portion of this palette, and then into some more of the earthy tones reminiscent of the Smoky Mountains. So with these medium blue beads, we've got a lot of these, as you can see in my hand, that you can use just like this as a spacer type of bead, where you would just see the outer edges. Or you could use these in a way where you're stacking these floral shapes onto something else that's a little bit larger, where you get the overall shape of that flower showing up, perhaps putting a little 15-0 seed bead in the center of this, and just orienting these beads in a different way. This next selection brings us a little bit more of a brighter blue, closer to a sky blue, and these are in the filigree oval shape with the blue opal glass and about 50 pieces included in the bag. So we have another generous handful of these small ovals, which kind of combine the opaque and the transparent together to make that opal glass variety that we see here. And no additional finish or wash on these, so you just see that subtle effect of the pressed detail on both sides of the ovals, which is more evident when you see the disruption of the sheen on the surface as you move them around a little bit. Our next selection is a 10-piece set of the Czech glass cowgirl flowers in pale blue crystal gold. And these are in a very pale blue. They almost look crystal clear, so that blue is just ever so subtle, and you really see that shiny golden wash showing up on both sides. And with this particular pressed flower shape, these have more of a square shape as opposed to the typical round or circular shape that we see in the flower designs. And since you can see through this glass pretty well, you can see where that hole is located, going right through the side and up through the center of the beads. Next is a bag containing the Czech glass Lucky Horseshoe Focal, and it says your color could vary, so it may be just like this or it may be something different, and we have one piece in the 18 by 20 millimeter size. So I have mine in this opaque turquoise colored glass with the golden wash, bringing out all those details that these have. And I'm sure another nod to a dolly, giving this sort of a country western type of vibe with that horseshoe shape. And there's a look at where the hole is located. This bead being another one of those that you could use on its own as a focal. Next up, we have some more stone beads, this time the natural aqua terra jasper, and in parentheses, serpentine, these being the approximately 8.3 millimeter smooth rounds, and this is a 7.5 inch strand. And with this terra jasper, we have a lot of those earthy tones, even combining the warms and the cooler neutrals together. We have some of that dark chocolatey brown, some burnt orange, and also some of those more grayish beige or taupe colored areas that then give way to some pops of bright sky blue. Up next, we have a bag containing approximately 225 of these smoky topaz shimmer Czech glass spacer druck beads, or round beads in the 4 millimeter size. And this is only about half of what came in the bag. I have the other half down below. So we're provided with a very generous amount of these smooth round glass beads in the smaller 4 millimeter size, with that neutral tone of smoky topaz, which could actually lean towards the cooler side and the warmer side, depending on what you put these with. Our next bag contains two different shapes. We have this floral shape in the coffee jasper. So you'll get a mix of these and also the square shape that we'll take a look at in just a moment. And I just love the coffee jasper. The striations are so subtle and also smooth in this very dark chocolate brown, which looks like it's just been drizzled. And there is a look at the hole placement there, which is going through the center of the floral shape. And here are the 4 square-shaped beads with the rounded corners. This coffee jasper giving a similar look to a wood grain type of design that's subtle, but yet you can still see how it's not just a flat color. They're all going to be slightly different, of course, because of their natural material. And that is not a break in this bead, it's just part of the design of the stone itself. These have the hole that runs through the side there, up and down through the center of the beads as well. Additionally, we have a 7.5 inch strand of the brown snowflake jasper smooth round beads that are just slightly bigger than 10 millimeters. And these have that really rustic combination of the dark brown and also different tones of gray, sort of reminiscent of certain areas of mountainous terrain, bringing together those neutral speckles of color in these smooth and polished round stones. In our final bag of beads, we see that we have a 15-piece set of the diamond brios in the woodlands mix. These have that caramelly, sort of creamy, coffee-like combination of warm brownish tones, these diamonds having that smoothed out shape, and a hole that runs through the top of one of those peaks so that these would hang down when they are strung onto your stringing material. And then in our final bag, we have 2 of our metallic components by Tierra Cast. One is a Western boot charm and the other is a butterfly toggle set. So here's that little tiny boot charm, which is absolutely adorable. Also a nod to the country western and Dolly Parton inspired theme. These are in the oxidized brass plating and include lots of detail and that shape, which is three-dimensional. You see that on all sides, both of them looking the same, just like that with that loop at the top. And then finally, our butterfly toggle clasp with that subtle and very sweet design, and the butterfly showing up on both of these pieces with a little bit of a leafy or floral-like design as well. And typically with these Sam's bead clubs, we see some of these metallic components pop up in the high-quality brands like Tiara Cast, which coordinate well with our monthly palettes. So this is another gorgeous Sam's bead box, I must say, and even though it's still winter, there's a lot of spring-like inspiration here with these nature-inspired hues, not just the more neutral earthy tones, but also colors like the brighter pinks and blues that balance those out and might remind you of a field of wildflowers or the lush natural countryside. So as you can see, this is one of those subscriptions that is heavier in the Czech glass, with supplemental gemstone beads and a hint of metallic. And every month you'll get an assortment similar to this, but in all different shapes and sizes, of course, and in a different color palette. So you're always getting something different, and you're provided with plenty to work with from just one box. You can see the assortment of all the different things we have here and how different things could possibly be combined together in tons of different ways. And of course, you can find lots of inspiration for your box contents by following Sam's Bead Box on Facebook or the other different avenues that you can find on their website, along with their classes and demonstrations if you're looking for more ideas. So I highly recommend Sam's Bead Boxes, and there's something I greatly look forward to every month, especially since the themes are very innovative and you can tell that they're well thought out, which I know for a lot of us is very inspiring, especially when you lay everything out after you've opened it up. It really makes me want to dive right in and start creating. So don't forget to check down below for the link to their website, which is where you can find out all the information you need to know about signing up. And you'll find that coupon code below as well, Orchid, that will save you $5 off your first box if you would like to try them out. As usual, feel free to leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this month's Sam's Bead Box content or anything else you'd like to say. Be sure to give the video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Also subscribe while you're here if you haven't already, because I'm sure you'll see some of these things show up in future finished pieces and tutorials. And feel free to share the video wherever you like. Once again, thank you all so much for unboxing this with me. I'm always glad to have you here and hope to see you again real soon. Until next time, I also hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, happy beading.